Very warm welcome to DCI Stuart McCullum from the Suffolk Constabulary. Welcome to UCS, Stuart. We've invited you here today to talk a little bit about the legalities of posting content online. I think as a parent, perhaps sometimes we're a little bit worried about what our children post online, and also the legalities. Is it legal to post things online or illegal? So I'd really like you to talk a little bit about content that children are posting online.
We have to judge each case on its merits, but I think if I start from the simple premise that if you wouldn't do it in the real world, don't do it online. There are a number of criminal offences that sometimes are committed, and of course the police are responsible for both investigating and taking action in relation to those offences. One of the difficulties that we face around online offences is, of course, there is nobody per se that polices the internet.
Okay. Yeah.
So if there are people in Suffolk who are worried about things that they may have done or things that may have happened to them, then they need to be reported to us so that we can consider appropriate action.
Yeah.
And I think if I just really talk around some of the background in relation to legality, there are some obvious issues around indecent images of children.
Yes.
And to be clear, that a child is somebody who is under the age of 18,
Okay.
up to that 18th birthday, the person remains a child. There's no difference in relation to male or female, and sometimes known as naughty pictures or selfies.
Yes,
that sort of issue is very much not gender specific.
Okay.
And the difficulty that sometimes people don't understand is that if an image is generated, regardless of who produces it, they actually commit an offence.
Okay.
And potentially the person who then shares that with somebody else via a mobile, via a website, also commits a further offence. And we have to be pragmatic about it, that people will explore.
Yes, of course.
And we understand that. But actually, if that's my child or my relative, then I would want to limit that, restrict it. And we have to be realistic about it, that there are only certain things that we can control.
Yeah.
But clear that in the eyes of the law, making, producing, sharing an image of an indecent image of a child is against the criminal law. Now when it comes to things like cyberbullying, or what's sometimes called defamation of character, so things that might be libelous, and I'm talking there around the civil law rather than necessarily the criminal law.
Okay.
Those are matters generally that the police won't deal with, other than to say if there's an offence like somebody's been offensive in the language that they've used, or threatening and what they've said they might do to someone, or if they don't do something the consequence will be, that there may be an offence then of what's known as threatening or abusive, insulting words or behaviour.
Okay.
The difficulty with that is, in theory, that has to be committed in a public place. So, and by way of explanation, the police investigate offences. The Crown Prosecution Service is the agency which actually prosecutes offences on behalf of you and me, the victim. So all I say perhaps in conclusion is, in relation to this particular area of business, we will always investigate anything that's drawn to our attention. We may not be able, being realistic, to do anything about it, because once an image is out there, it's out there. And service providers are the people who can take images down. The police have no clever IT facility to be able to do that. We perhaps in certain circumstances will make application to service providers to be able to take down offensive conduct. But there are particular complications for us there. That being said, we will always listen to a victim, and we will always take the matter seriously, and we will always try and help and take positive action.
Sure, and I know that from the CEOP videos that we've actually got hosted within this web resource, that we are encouraging children and young people that if they are being bullied or they're being encouraged to performing some sort of sexual behaviours or sexual acts online, that I know that you mentioned it in your introduction about the high-tech crime unit that we've got here in the county of Suffolk. I know that they take these allegations very seriously, and that suspects can actually have their PCs removed from their home, their digital cameras, their phones, etc., etc. And there's some incredibly clever ways of actually tracing perpetrators of these crimes.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And the high-tech crime unit are specialist officers and police staff who've had really tip-top training.
Yeah.
And we have the equipment. The constabulary has invested time and money in both their training and provision of the equipment that they use to be able to consolidate evidence and perhaps find evidence where some people might think it's been destroyed.
Or hidden.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we provide that evidence to the Crown Prosecution Service with a view to matters being taken further via the criminal justice system. But just to wind that back one step, if I can, if we're not told about it, we can't ever take any action. If I can give a clear message in relation to the police in general terms, and particularly I obviously speak on behalf of Suffolk, that if you feel uncomfortable about something, and acknowledging it's quite a big step for people to bring that uncomfortable feeling to the police. But if you are able to bring something to our attention, we will take it seriously, we will listen, and we will follow it up and investigate as far as we can. And we have the capability to do that in certain circumstances by taking sometimes really positive action.
Okay, lovely. Thank you for that, Stuart. And also, on this website itself, we have actually put on a flowchart about what to do if you're worried in different things. So you'll be able to look at some really practical how-to kind of actions that you can take in terms of keeping yourself safe online, but also what to do if you're worried a child is being exploited online. Many thanks to DCI Stuart McCullum, and also to all of the organisations that are working together to create this information hub in terms of keeping ourselves safe online. Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you.